Okay, welcome to another episode of the YouSchool podcast. I'm glad you're here. My name is Scott Schimmel. I'm your host, the president and the chief guide of the YouSchool. Today, what I want to do is explore a question that doesn't typically show up in school curriculum or probably even like a parenting book, but I believe that it should. We're going through this series of the 30 critical questions that every kid needs to answer in order to build the foundation for a meaningful life, which includes a core sense of their identity and who they are, a strong motivation and sense of purpose in this world. And finally, probably most importantly, will be relationships, belonging, community, a sense of being a part of something bigger than themselves. The question we're going to look at today is this: what is beautiful to you? Now, I know that might sound more like, I don't know, a question you might use on a first date or in poetry. But this question actually is pretty sneaky, powerful, and insightful. Asking a kid about what they find beautiful isn't just about their preferences, although that is important. Like, do they like sunsets? Do they prefer music or art or something in sports? But what we found is that what a kid finds beautiful reveals what resonates in their soul, what stirs inside of them, what gives them a little jolt of wonder or meaning. And that matters because kids identify what lights them up is one of the building blocks of identity formation. There's a science behind all of it. I'm not just making this up. There's a whole area of research called narrative identity by kind of grandfathered by this guy named Dan McAdams. And he says that identity isn't just about who I am, it's the story that I tell to myself about who I am. When you ask a kid what they find beautiful, you're actually helping them shape that story. Maybe they might say, I love a particular part of a song that hits in kind of the emotional side of who I am. Or they might even say, if you give enough time and it's open-ended, I just love people who stand up for others. Whatever their answer is, it is a clue. It's a piece of the larger story of what they value, what they notice, and the kind of person that they're becoming. What you find beautiful resonates with who you are. What you find beautiful is a sign of the future of who you're going to turn into. As kids grow, what they find beautiful typically changes. A little kid might think that sparkles and glitter and slime are beautiful, but by middle school, maybe it's the perfectly edited TikTok video, or maybe it's the feeling of being included. But over time, beauty becomes something deeper to most people. It's generosity, it's kindness, it's people showing up with courage, it's authenticity, it's people speaking the truth. And those shifts are signs of emotional growth. They're signs that they're developing their, what you might call a moral imagination, the kind of world where they want to live in and how they want to show up. And if we're paying attention to it, this is gold. This is the guiding work that we can do to help them shape a well-formed identity and purpose in this world. This also connects to their sense of motivation and overall well-being. There's a psychological concept underneath the self-determination theory called self-concordance. Basically, it means doing things that align with your inner life, your inner values, instead of just doing them because you feel like you're supposed to or someone else told you to. Now, when a kid can identify and name what they find beautiful, they're getting closer and closer to what feels right, what resonates, what has like inner concordance with who they are. In other words, what energizes them, what they want to pursue, not just because they're being told to or feel like they're supposed to fit in or find accolades, but because it makes them feel alive. That's how they start to build a life that's not just successful, but meaningful. And here's a quick story. I once worked with a high school student. She was super smart, sharp, definitely high achieving, kind of checked all the boxes. When we got to this question, she got really quiet. And then she eventually said, this might sound kind of dumb, but when someone just listens without interrupting or criticizing, that's beautiful to me. And there it was. She didn't realize it, but she had just expressed a core value that she couldn't access without going through this kind of perspective of beauty. This idea of being seen, being understood, offering that to others. That one moment helped crack open a whole conversation with her about what kind of friend she wanted to be, what kind of work she wanted to do, and how she wanted to live. So here's the takeaway. If you're a parent, educator, coach, you have kids in your life, ask them over time, what's beautiful to you? And then just stop thinking. Let them ramble. Let them come up with surfacey sort of things at first. But keep listening and keep asking, what else? What else? And ask it again, not just once, but over the course of several weeks or months or years. And then let them surprise you. Write down what they say so that you don't forget, so you can remind them again. So you can help them identify and notice the shifts. You used to say this, but now you say that. What's changed? Or what do you think? And before we kind of wrap up, I want to flip it around to you. What do you find beautiful? Like, seriously, stop and pause and think about it. Look around, listen, search your heart, pay attention to the moments that make you pause in awe or wonder. Just watching a sports documentary about Bill Walton and the kind of person that he is and was to the people around him. Just like, man, that's so beautiful. A guy who was so fully present to the moment, to the people around him, and pursued others with such generosity and kindness. Like, that's beautiful. That taps into a clue of what's important to me and the kind of future that I want to build with my life. And don't forget, every kid has a story. Every kid has a unique perspective, and it's our opportunity to guide them and help them understand what that is, which is so different than trying to fit in or trying to fit into someone else's script for themselves. We ultimately want our kids to live fully autonomous lives, chasing after the things that are important to them, understanding what's beautiful and learning how to express that in the world. So thanks for being here. We'll be back soon with another episode of the YouSchool podcast.